Here in Dubai, we were the first one in the world to slap a K28 motor in a 2008, CP2 Accord here in Dubai. Hey, my name is Adnan Khalil. I've been born and raised here in Dubai all my life, so 34 years living here in the sandpit. My first car was actually in 2004. My dad got it for me when I joined college. I had a 2004 Honda Accord. It was manual. That was pretty sick because I didn't want to get an automatic car, so I pretty much only wanted a manual, and that was the only thing we got. Well, yeah, that car. Well, for the Accord, when I got it, pretty much it was full stock. Brand new, it was trying to take care of it and all that stuff. When you get your fresh car, you don't want to dirty the seats, you keep the plastics on, like how we do it over here. And then, of course, we always had the modification bug, right? So, but again, when you're in college, you don't have money, right? So we used to do the little kind of ghetto things, if you want to call it, like pretty much cut springs, put in a pod fill like a K&N or something like that, just to give it a little bit of sound. And it was pretty cool when I put the pod fill on it. These K-series motors are like, well, you get the sound and everything is pretty cool. So did all that, and of course, we used to be a little chicky in Mexico, let's say. I had that for about a year or so, and then I had to actually get rid of it because I moved to the UK to study. So yeah, after once I came back from the UK, and the story was there, like I was supposed to get my aircraft engineering license and stuff, and then come back and get a job, but things didn't work out very well, so I couldn't sit on my butt. I had to do something. So I told my parents, man, I'm going to go find me a job and just do something. I don't want to sit home. I want to make my own money, grow up pretty quick. So the story was a friend of mine in college. His name was Menon. Pretty much he opened up his own tuning garage in 2005-ish. And I was there with him, kind of helping him out a little bit with ideas. And he was asking me questions, this and that. Because he knew how crazy I was into cars and stuff. I was into cars when I was a kid. But I actually got the bug in 96. That was the era over here in Dubai and stuff like that. So, but just to continue from there, in 2006, I joined a garage called Voom Tuning. It was pretty funky little shop. I was there for 2 years. I became the workshop manager there, and I was only into Japanese cars. But when I started working there, I got into American muscles. We were so popular with Corvettes, C6s, Z06s, Shelby GT500s. 350Zs, because even Manucha had a 350Z. So we had all the guys come in, we had all the bolt-on stuff available and all that sort of stuff. So we were booming back then. And that time, man, Rashid, the era was the shit until it came to 2008 where it just went down the toilet. So during those 2 years, I didn't have a car, actually. I was using my mom's Toyota Camry, getting to work and back, whatever. I just had a normal, simple car. And I was having the pleasure of helping other people build their cars, build what they want to do, stuff like that, crazy projects. We had guys, we were the main guys, we were the first guys to get the Kenny Bell supercharger kits in UAE. That was madness back then. Like anybody was like, well, what's Kenny Bell? Man, when you see those things, it's crazy. So in 2008, what happened from there was, I actually went into a complete different field. One of my customers that was working with me, that dealt with me in the garage, actually was working with Imar Properties. So for 2 years, I moved on to there because, the package, you couldn't say no to it, man. It was ridiculous. So I couldn't say no to it. So I moved on to there, whatever. But now, during that time of crossing over, I got my Snow White, I called it, the 2008 Honda Accord. Now this car, this car put me into trouble. It got me awards. It was very unique in a sense because here in Dubai, we were the first one in the world to slap a K28 motor in a 2008, CP2 Accord here in Dubai. Did it with my boys at Lab 57 at the time when I was working with them. Now the guys with Lab 57, we go way back a little bit because I don't know if some of you know, if you maybe look at the Lab 57 team, the 24-hour endurance races that we have here once a year. I was actually working as a pit member, a pit crew over there and stuff. So the whole bug of K-Series came in at that time. So drove the car for I used to track race that Accord. People were like, are you man driving a family sedan. Like, are you retarded or something? I'm like, but it was my thing. I wanted to get like a Civic Type R S2000, but I couldn't. You know, first of all, parents, they wouldn't allow you a sports car. They'd be like, you're crazy, you're this and that. But they were looking out for safety. And my dad was just an old school guy. He said, get a car that takes you from A to B. He didn't know my passion of cars, how strong it was and stuff. So pretty much, I was like, man, you know what? And of course, the 2008 Accord that I got, again, guess what? It was manual as well. So 2 years driving the car, setting it up for track racing. I put lowering springs on it, custom intake, custom exhaust, all this sort of stuff. I used to go to Dubai Autodrome, my second home. As some of you may have seen, I always go there. I love being there. It's like home, you know. And I started track racing with a stock Accord, man. I had springs on it, no camera kit, no nothing, air box mod, and I used to just go and practice. That car taught me how to drive. Now, this is prior to I put the K28 in. I had the stock K24 in it. I ran that motor down at 115,000 kilometers. I spun the bearings on the bottom end. So the engine went, you know, it was still actually running. I drove a 2-lap, and I showed the video. I was like, man, my car's making some noise. And as I drive into the garage, it was just like, turn it off, you're crazy. Take it into the garage, whatever. We opened up the oil pan, and we found out that the bearings went goodbye, because back then I didn't know about baffled sumps. Not a lot of us did. None of us know what was what does certain things do, and all this sort of stuff. This car taught me that. This car taught me how to set up a car. How do we measure it? Well, the famous chai cola, as we call it, which is Cafe 2020 in Nalahima, next to the Coca-Cola factory. That's where I remember seeing him. Why we connect so well, because back then he actually had a Civic Type R EP3 as well, a red one. And I remember he took me for a spin in that. It was pretty quick. It was pretty stock, but it was pretty fast though. And we just became friends, you know, since then, you know. And he actually, when I worked in the used car showroom business, he actually came to me with his mom, his very sweet American mom, and bought an Audi A8 for me. Kind of, I think a gray one it was, like olive gray. Yeah, hooked him up on that. And, you know, we just been, you know, we haven't met much these days, but we still keep in touch on social media and stuff like that. You know, that's the cool thing about social media. Even if you don't meet somebody, but you can always keep in touch with them. So, yeah, Rashid, man, yeah, he's a good chap, man. He's a good friend, man. You know, he's kind-hearted, he's sweet, you know, and it was crazy, man. Like, he was into cars, but you know, very basic. But now he's like, I mean, in car shows and testing cars, and man, this guy went like 180 degree, man. You know, it's pretty cool where he's ended up right now. And of course, he has his Roush supercharged Mustang that he adores, and he's done like so much stuff to it. He's changed colors to it a couple times and all that sort of stuff. And till date, man, he's like, man, Adnan, I want to get an EP3 just like how you got yours, you know. And if you ever find something, let me know, man. So I try and share him some stuff once in a while if I find anything. Try and share it to him so he can get one, you know. He misses it. He always misses it. Yes, you have a V8, you have muscle, you know, but Honda always has a sweet spot in everybody's heart, you know. And, you know, even famous tuners and racers can tell you that they start off with a Honda, you know. That's a lot of good guys here start off with Hondas, you know. So whoever say Hondas are like rice cookers or whatever, you can say whatever you want, man. But they do have a good spot in the car scene, you know, in racing, in everything, you know. So, yeah, that's how me and Russia know each other for so long.